Check your Facebook to see me. Okay.
Good evening, Zambia. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching us from. Mr. Mapanza is having internet problems, so I will step in for him. This evening, we are joined by Chilenja WPC, Mr. Chipuma Maulu. Good evening, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Sometimes with all the internet challenges and everything else, here at TV Bakwetu, we're always just ready to go with what is in front of us. So it's great to have you on the program, and you're gonna have to speak to the younger version of me. No. sure Mr. Mapanza will join us once he gets his connection. And I think Mr. Mapanza had this idea of speaking to different constituencies to find out how they're using the new funds that are going to be given and what information is being provided to the people out there. Do you mind just telling our viewers what is your role?
Us as a ward development committee, our role is to come up with projects, community-based projects. Because as you know, like Change Your Ward, we've got quite a lot of challenges. That is the drainages, we've got challenges of the road itself, even also in the markets. So we shall be, in the Challenge Ward, we've got about 15 zones. That's how it has been zoned. And each zone has got its own peculiar problems. So the zonal leaders will sit down with their community members, come up with the projects which are supposed to be done in those areas. We also, as a ward development committee, are responsible of choosing the vulnerable students, those who are looking for secondary school bursaries. Okay. And number two, also we are also the ones to also do the issues of those who want empowerment for the women and for youth and for the vulnerable. So it's quite a a mouthful of activities as a ward development committee which we shall be doing.
And how are you identifying where those resources should go?
Yeah, but basically, as I said earlier on, we have what we call zones in Change Ward. We've got about 15 zones, each one with a zonal leader. So these zonal leaders, they are people who live in those zones, and they have meetings once in a month to sit down with the communities and come up with the challenges which they have with the communities. So that's how we are able to identify the problem which they have in those areas.
Thank you very much. That is very, very good. So I would assume then you're constantly in contact with all the local community people, finding out what exactly those communities want.
Definitely, yeah, we are constantly in contact with them. We have, because of the same arrangement which you have, the same structure which you have, it's easy for us to know what kind of changes which they have. Like, as you know, we've got a place we call Mapoloto. Okay, Mapoloto, we've got a lot of problems in that area. Okay, they've got the issues of our little children who are drinking illicit alcohol, smoking dagga. So all those things, we've got people who are living in those areas who are able to give us feedback as what is happening in those areas.
That is amazing, and it's great that there is that feedback in what is going on in the areas. In terms of, I think there's been talks about some people thinking they can just set up their own, say they're setting up a business, but they don't set up anything, and they just steal the money. They're just planning to say they've set up an enterprise. How are you in your ward making sure that you identify people who are legitimate and people who will not just grab the money and go away and spend it for their own needs?
Yeah, basically the way it is now that these projects will be given to the locals, the people whom we live within the community, the people we know. Nobody will come from, let me say, from Kafue to say, no, I'm going to partake of the CDF in the change ward because we know each other. We are the local people. So in that way, we shall be able to know this one is not one of us. This thing should go to somebody else. So there are those kind of things which we are doing because we know each other in the communities. So there's no way this money will go to somebody else. And after all, this money is at the what level where we are. Us, our role is only to identify projects, also to identify people who can do these projects, and then forward it to the CDF committee, who later on also forward those names to the council, who also now does the procurement.
Mr. Mapanza, over to you. Mr. Mapanza. I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah.
I don't think he
No,
can
he
hear
can't.
us.
He can't. No, he can't. He can't hear us.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
there's a point. I think there is a very important point you raised there about not ensuring that the project doesn't go to people in Kafue. So when it comes to project, in terms of the development that's going to be needed, I think the idea is that the money stays in the constituency.
Yeah,
So
sure.
when you think of the projects that are needed and the skill set, what are you doing to offset that? Because are you going to identify certain skilled people? Is training being talked about? How are you going to offset the gap in skill sets when it comes to putting up these projects?
Yeah, basically, in terms of skills, I think like I give an example. Like today, I had an engagement with 3 zones. That is the zones from Mapoloto, Chitukuko zone, and Timothy Manakatwe. We encourage the members, as you are trying to get this empowerment, you need to have people who are skilled, those who know how to do these jobs. So we are telling them, say, no, these skills are supposed to be got by them. So this information, we are definitely telling the communities, we are telling those cooperatives which are being formed that certain skills, you need to have them for you to be given these projects. We are also encouraging them also to say, if you don't have any skill, it's high time now that Teveta funded institutions now, we're also giving the bursary. We're also encouraging our communities to go back to school and acquire those skills.
That was my next question. Is training, going back for training and acquiring those skills. And are we using local experienced people in terms of, for example, if you've got an older carpenter in their 50s, in their 60s, have had their experience, are we using the same amount of funds to empower them to train younger people in terms of having the skills that are needed in order for the wards to deliver successful projects?
Basically, you see, that's the kind of thing which we're also looking at. You'll be amazed that today, as I was touring our mini market, I found a gentleman who is able to make shoes, okay, shoes of high quality. These are the people whom we are saying that when we find these people with some empowerment money, they'll bring up the youths, teach them the art of making the shoes, whereby that will also help them to sustain their lives. So we're also doing that, sir. And we're encouraging such people, the old people who have got the skill which can be taken to the youths. We're also doing that.
And the other part of this is so in terms of getting young people involved early into the project, I think we want them to get the experience that they need. But what are we doing in terms of getting the young people involved very early on in these projects? Have we looked at in terms of what age we're looking at, what in terms of gender equality in all the projects, so that these projects just don't go to a certain group of people who've already got the experiences and young people miss out? So what are we doing to offset those gaps? I know you've talked about training already, but what are we doing to make sure that young people actually get involved very early on?
Yeah, but basically, you see, as we are talking to our zonal leaders, as we are having engagement with the communities, we are encouraging the youth to be on top of things, because for any movement to happen, the youth must be in the forefront. So we have encouraged our zonal leaders to make sure that the youth are involved in each and every part of every activity. Like today, I had a couple of youths who are trying to come to do chickens. We told them, so look, when you are doing such kind of things, we need to go further than just keeping chickens. You can also try to add value into them. So we're engaging them. We're talking to them one by one and trying to tell them, say, no, look, this empowerment which we are trying to do for them, they are for future. They are not for now.
That's an important element. That is what I was going to come out to. I think with a lot of people, a lot of our people, they want things now. We want it all now. In terms of my next question was in terms of really making sure people, we're telling people it's all about the future. How important is it for people to understand that it's not about starting a business tomorrow and in few months time you're making 100,000 kwacha profit? How important is it that people understand that it's going to be times of struggle in whatever enterprise they're going to go in? Is that message being sent that it's not about whatever you start tomorrow, we fix it tomorrow? That this is a project that might take a few years, it might take 3 years or 5 years. Is that message being communicated? Because people, when it want talk, they want change now.
Yeah, basically, yeah, we are doing that. We are talking to them quite seriously on that. You know, the challenges which we have is that in the previous governments, I think a lot of our youths and our women folk were used to getting free things. When an empowerment of this kind comes, they thought that maybe that one, you don't have to return the money to the government. So we've got an uphill battle to start educating them to say whatever empowerment which they are getting, one is a loan, it must be paid back. Number two, they must be able to build the capacity amongst themselves that this thing which they are going to be, which they'll be doing, will be sustainable for themselves. So definitely, yes, we are literally teaching them, we're talking to them on one-to-one to tell them that this time around, the government of the president, Mr. HH, means business and means it wants to create, a pool of entrepreneurs, those who are going to face the future.
That is a very, very important point. We're building for something for the future, not having things for today. And so, in terms of the way the message is being communicated, how are you communicating this message to the people? Are you holding meetings? Are you holding mini rallies where a lot of people gather? How is the message going around?
Yeah, one of the ways, as I said earlier on, we are doing this through the zonal leaders. They're having their meetings, okay? As the zonal leader, he calls the youth, the women, all of them, and they're talking to them. Like today, I had a meeting today, as I said earlier on also. I had a meeting with almost about the 4 zones, and we were teaching them about this new CDF, because you see, when you look at the new CDF, it's different from the one which was happening previously. So we need to tell the people what it's all about. So that's what we are using for now. You might be aware that our committee was just put into place, I think, last week Friday. So we're just 1 week old. So we're still trying to see other avenues of how we can pass this message across to the communities.
It's always, yeah, that's great to know that there's ways that we're thinking about making sure that the message is communicated to the communities. And in terms of how are we making sure that this message is understood? For me, is I've looked at the CDF writing, it's all in English. So straight away, it attracts people who've got a certain level of education. But we know there's people who haven't got grade 12 certificates or degrees who are very good at certain things. I've got a master's degree in human resources, but I can't make a table. I can't make a table that you can see. But then, so we've got this message. I understand what it means. I can read. I understand because I'm educated to that level. What are we doing to make sure that the message is communicated to people who have got the skill to deliver what we want, but might not have the capability to understand what has been written?
Yeah, basically, you see, what we have done is that, as you are aware, that normally CDF committees, they don't have offices per se. Okay, so we are trying to get some space, some little space near Chilenje Market there, so that at least we put a person there, and we're encouraging all these members, because currently we are pushing for the bursary for secondary schools, And you can imagine the application form for the bursaries is about 10 pages. Now, for somebody who has never gone to school to go through it and understand it, it's quite a bit of a challenge. Even when you see the way they are bringing out these forms, it's a big of a problem. So we are ourselves as Challenge Award. What we've tried to do is that we've put an individual and myself, of course, attending to such things and trying to tell them how a form is supposed to be filled in. It's quite a big headache, but we are trying to know to use whatever is available to achieve the goal.
Is it? Do you think is it about high time we look at communicating to our people in local languages and actually having a form that people can say, I want a form in Nyanja because I can understand, I can write Nyanja. I want the form in English because I can understand English, I'll be fine. I want the form in Tonga or in Lozi or in Kaonde or in Nuvali. Is it not about high time we start looking at communicating to our people in that manner?
Yeah, I agree with you because most of the people we have, these the challenged people, the poor people, they are people who are illiterate, people who don't know how to read and write. So I think it would just be fair enough that these application forms also they are also put in the local language, also in English. I agree with you. I think that would also help.
Do you then? Or just carrying on the same subject, do you think then I know you've mentioned you put people in different places in markets so that they can explain what is going on, but do you think the barriers into an understanding what the CDF is going to be about and what it's offering, the barriers in this in the lack of communication is actually going to stop some people from taking part? So for example, if you put somebody on the markets today, if I go on the market tomorrow, they're not there, they're not going to be there on a daily basis. How are we going to ensure that all these people understand what is going on?
I think the challenge we have for now, looking at the whole process of this CDF, I think we need to do a lot more of sensitization of the communities about what this CDF is all about. Because I believe that most of the people they don't understand what it is about. Most of people, they just think that when I make a cooperative, okay, I'll go to CDF and they'll give me the money. I think there's a bit lack of information going to the communities. I think we need to do a lot more of sensitization we need to do.
Okay, I lost you there. Then you're back now.
Did you get the last point? I was saying that yes, I agree with you. We quite need to do quite a lot of sensitizing our communities because the information and where to get this information most of the time they don't have it. They would love to come in and maybe benefit from this CDF, but they don't know where to go. That's why I've been trying to push our people here. Say no. I think you also need to give us a CDF office whereby it will be also act like an information center.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. So do you think the lack of a central office, and this is a thing that's not being thought about, a constituency have an actual office where I can go, I need information, and I can find information on in A, B, or C?
Yes.
So,
I agree with you. As a constituency level, there's an office for the MP. Yes, it's there. But when you come to what level, where we shall be doing all this identification of the projects, where we shall be doing the applications for the secondary school, the Taveta, all the things, there's no office. There's no where to go to get the information from. And you might be aware that some of these constituencies, they're quite large. For a person to know to go and get maybe information from the constituent office, it might be very far. So they might sit back and not be able to participate in this CDF. So I think it is important that all ward development committees should have an office in their wards. And that way to help to disseminate the information about CDF and explain some of the things which they don't understand.
Mapanza, are you with us now?
I'm so sorry. The internet failed me. In addition to being in the dark, but thank you for keeping the ball rolling. Um, I'm not sure how much you have covered. Yeah, one area I wanted to find out is how you went about forming the Ward Development Committee in Chilenge. Is it something that went smoothly, or is it something that
Yeah,
you
of
have
course
already
it
discussed?
did. No, that one hasn't been discussed. Can I
Yeah, you
come
can
in?
just
Yes, please go on. Go on.
Yeah, I think the formation of ward development committees in Change Ward went on smoothly because what happened was that the Lusaka City Council came through in the ward, sensitized the community that there will be formation of ward development committees, and people should be able to come to the council and elect their zonal leaders, and that was done without any problem.
And what is it? Has there been excitement generally, with this CDF, considering that the amount has been increased significantly from 1.6 to 25.7 million kwacha?
Yeah, basically, there's been a lot of excitement. As I said earlier on, like today, we had the first meeting of just to interact with the communities from about 4 zones. And when we asked them about the expectations, because previously there was 1.6, now there's 27.7 million of CDF. So when we asked them about the expectation, you would be amazed what the expectations are quite very, very high.
Do you think these expectations will be met?
I know, yeah, they'll be made, of course, but they won't be made maybe in 1 year. Maybe after some time, they'll definitely be made, yes.
And I think, as I've said, I think the important thing is that people are aware of the
Yes,
increase and that they are prepared
yes.
to participate. As you know, we are talking
Mm,
about a period of 5 years. This is only the first year.
yes,
The
sure.
first year. So,
Mm,
have
mm.
you had time to have community meetings and discuss project ideas and prioritizing those project ideas?
Yeah, as I said earlier, I want to say no. For change a word, the executive committee was just put in place last Friday, and all the zonal leaders now they are kind now going into their communities, trying to identify projects and also prioritize them.
Oh, that's good then. So,
Yeah.
in terms of helping them understand the expectations of the CDF fund. I know that the guidelines were recently released, and I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe you touched a bit already with Frank on that.
Yeah.
Is it something that has been done? Are people aware of the guidelines?
Yeah, basically, yes. Most of the people are aware. Some are not aware. As I said earlier on with the other interviewer there, I said we started now our awareness programs as a World Rem Committee for Challenge. Today we are at Change Community.
I have I have lost you, Mr. Maulu. Are you back?
No, I'm back. I'm back here.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah, I'm back here. So we've already started doing that. Today we had a very wonderful meeting with most of the communities from Maproto. I think you've heard about Maproto. There's Mondo, Change B, and the market area there. We had a very wonderful time. People, we are now talking to them and trying to get feedback from them.
Great. Chilenge being an urban setting,
Mm.
I'm sure the challenges will be different from those that you know wards that are in the rural communities.
Yeah, yes,
Um,
yes.
you know, Organizing urban communities is a bit of a challenge. We have our own
Mm.
experience here, where I am in Chilanga constituency. I am in
Mm.
the Nyemba ward.
Mm-hmm.
we had meetings, and then we said, okay, let's have zonal meetings so that people can identify, project ideas, and also, concretize those into priorities, so that if there's priority one, then they could work on priority one. If they don't do all their ideas in the first year, they could still move them to
the following
next
year.
year. Yeah, exactly. And you find, you have a zone meeting, only 3 people attend. This is where educated people are. We have generals, we have retired generals, we have retired civil servants. So I don't know generally what type of people in your ward are active in these processes.
Yeah, because basically, like if you know change it very well, the place where we started off from today, trying to have a discussion with them is Mapoloto, and in Mapoloto area is an area whereby you find those of the lower income brackets. Okay, and I'm glad that I think the problem we have in Challenge is that the most of the people, they don't know where to go and attend these meetings. Okay, so I think the most important, maybe if we could do a little bit more of maybe public publicity of these meetings, I know in Challenge would have a lot of people, because everybody else here in Challenge are so excited about the projects which are going to be coming through. They're complaining about drainages. They want drainages to be done. They're talking about their roads which are not very muddy. They're saying no, we should do those roads using CDF. So I mean, everybody's so excited about it, but I think what we are lacking in Challenge is that even those in a high income bracket, they're also excited about it. Okay, I also want to participate in this thing, but the one problem is that they don't know where to go and know so that they can be part of this thing. So the most important thing, me from my side, what I think is that we need to do a little bit more of publicity, a little bit more of talking to the people around our communities. And I know that as we go forward, when people will know about this meeting, we shall be having quite a lot of people to listen to us.
Yeah, in fact, that's the idea why we thought we should have this program every Saturday, so that we can really begin to sensitize people, about this new development. And we are trying to, bring people from different wards, countrywide. So we'll be doing this every Saturday, beginning at 20 hours. So we hope that we can spread the word that there's this program every Saturday, and people can come here and we can discuss and we can help each other to understand what is going on and what we need to do. Those that may not have an idea, they could learn from this forum.
Yeah, sure, sir. That will help. Definitely going to help. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you see as the priorities in your ward, which are likely to come from the communities?
Like the meeting which I had today, we've got Change Market. Okay, Change Market has got it's a newly built market. We've got a problem of water. Our marketeers, there's no good water because the pump which is here is not working. Even the tanks, okay, they're not okay. So I think that one will be one of the priorities we shall do. Number two, the Mapoto area is a problem of sewer, a lot of leakages, okay, and also the drainages also which are not good. Because of poor drainages, we've seen that a lot of sewer effluent is being sprayed anyhow like that. So I think that will be one also of our priorities to do in Challenge. Because you see, like today, as I've said that we had meetings with about 3 or 4 zones, okay, where these things were coming out, okay. So now, if I say point for change one is quite a big one. And the other zones haven't had their meetings. So as they have their meetings and talk about their projects and priorities, then we shall come to that. For now, I can simply talk about those where I went to today. That
exactly.
is the water tank at the clinic, also at the same change market. There's a challenge of where our marketeers are selling from. because the places where they're saying Salaula and some Chaco, there is no shade. So when it's raining, for them to do their business is quite a difficult thing. So they said, no, also prioritize about that thing. Can you give us a modern shelter? So that also when you're doing our business, we won't be inconvenienced. So I believe also in that area, that's one of the things maybe we shall try to look into.
Oh, that's great. Maybe let me just do a bit of marketing at this point. To all you viewers, wherever you are, please know that you can support this program and TV Bakwetu in general if you can give us stars. You can look at the bottom of the screen. There's a place where you can press a star, and then it will lead you to a place where you can offer something to this program. So we appeal to you, if you can, please support us by giving us stars, because that's the way we make these programs available to you. Okay, I hope I haven't lost our guest. He seems to have disappeared from the screen. Are you still there, Mr. Maulu? Oh, there you are. I thought I had lost you.
No, my
Okay.
apologies. Yeah.
Okay. So I heard you talk a bit about the bursaries.
Yes.
For secondary school children.
Yes.
My concern has been that the response so far, at least where we are, the response has been very, very slow. And my concern is that we have the resources, but these resources may not be utilized for the purpose they were meant, because the response. How has been the response in your ward in as far as applications for bursaries?
I think you can have the same situation like yours. I think this thing also comes back to people not knowing where to go and drop their application forms. I think if we were able to sensitize our people to say, that's what I was saying. You see, if we had ward development, offices in our wards, and people would know where to drop these forms and where to get these forms, I think the response was going to be good. But as of now, it's been very poor.
Let us use this forum then to appeal to any of those that are listening, that are viewing this program. If you are in Zambia, please, wherever you are, help us to sensitize the communities that the CDF funding is not just a story. This is something that is real, and part of the funding is there to support children that are going to secondary schools, and they don't have sponsorship. There is money that has already been released, but we are having a challenge. There are very few people that are applying for these resources. So please, again, if you are listening to this program, do sensitize your communities and encourage them to, if you don't know where to, they don't know where to go, please ask them to identify the leaders in their wards. For example, ward chairman of all political parties. This is not about one political party. It doesn't matter which political party you belong to. Please speak to your leaders, the political leaders, so that they can tell you where to find the ward development committee members. It's unfortunate that at this premises where people can go and get in touch with them. But please make an effort. If you have got children in your communities and those children have been accepted in secondary school, they have acceptance letters, but they do not have support, please approach the ward development committees. Find out wherever you are. The constituency has been divided into wards. So wherever you are, in whichever constituency you are, countrywide, you belong to a ward. So know your ward and know the leaders of your ward. And every ward has been divided into zones in as far as the operations of the ward development committees. And each zone has a zonal representative, and these are the people you are supposed to be interacting with. These are the people that they can give you information, they can guide you on what to do. Right now, we are talking about the sponsorship of children that have been accepted in secondary schools. It's the same with skills development. Especially the youth and the women. We have been talking about the need to empower the youth, especially. We would like to encourage all the youth also to be aware of this program, to know their leaders in their communities, and go and find out what they need to do in order to benefit from this fund. It's there for you. If we don't use it, it's nobody to blame. It's not the government to blame. The government has made the resources available, and it's up to you, to make the use of these resources. Anything else you could say, Mr. Maulu?
Yeah, in agreeing with you, you see, I think we need to go out there and sensitize our people. I also want to say that let us also use the churches. Let us also use the schools to go and tell our people that there is this thing which is going on. We don't want any child, like we have said in Chilenja, we don't want to leave any child behind. Every child must be able to go to school. So let our people from the churches also pass this information. This thing is not a pattern thing. Let all political parties also sensitize their members and tell them to go to their area councillors, their area MPs, and say, no, this thing is a real thing and it's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in terms of the youth in your ward, is there any sense that the youth are aware of this resource, and are they making any efforts to benefit from it?
Definitely, yes, they are. They're very busy trying to come up with cooperatives, most of the youth, they are aware about it. Our women folk are also aware about it. They are busy trying to come up with cooperatives. Most of the people are aware about it. But I think there's also a little more we can do, because I believe other people, they don't know what, the biggest challenge which we have is the way I look at this CDF, that people, they don't know where to go and present these issues to. As I said, if each ward had an office which would act like an information center for ward development committees, that is going to help. Because you see, the way the CDF was being done previously is different from now. Because you can imagine we are doing the empowerment for the youth, for the women, also some soft loans for them, also a portion for the grants also is there, also the projects. They need to have a place where to go and get all this information from. When we use the zonal coordinates, the zonal leaders, it might not be enough. But I believe that if we had a place like an office where anybody would walk in, get the information, get the forms, and go out, that is going to help. Rather than a person going to maybe the city council or the office of the MP, that would be a bit difficult. We need also to centralize everything at the one level. That is going to help greatly.
You are right, and I think that these things are likely to happen. I think it will be up to the ward development committees to be innovative, to look for solutions to this challenge. Because this really is a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Premises is appearing to be a huge challenge. But as you know, the ward development committee is there not just for implementation of CDF. The ward development committee is there to work with the council, even helping the council in mobilizing resources, identifying businesses that are operating in the wards, and to ensure that they are licensed and they are making payments that are required to the council. And as the ward development committees do their work and help the council to raise these resources, there is a percentage that remains with the ward development committee. And that's the kind of resource that you could use for the operations of the ward. For example, creating a space where it will be easy for people to go and do business with the ward development committees.
Yeah, but because basically for us as change your word, we are already on top of things because we've seen that there's that challenge. We are busy trying to look for a space just near the market there, and I believe by next week we should have some space where people would come in, walk in, and get information about the CDF. So for us as change, at least we're already a step ahead. We are trying to work towards that because we've noticed that our people don't have a place where to go, so we're already working on that. And I believe by next week, this time, we should have a place where anybody from Change World will be able to come and get information about CTF, get information about secondary school bursaries, the VETA, women empowerment. They'll be getting those information from there. And this as we are doing just that.
Oh, that's good. And perhaps another thing to talk about as we look at the operations of the ward development committees. Yeah, I mean, as I said, there will be partners with the council.
Yes.
I don't know. Is this an area that you have already started preparing, or you are still in the stage where you're trying to understand how you could do these other responsibilities in addition to administering the constituency development fund?
Yeah, I think basically we're still in the stage where we are trying to understand this thing fully. As I said, as Change Your Word Development Committee, we had just put in the executive just put in place last Friday. So to say, the executive just about 1 week old. We're having our first executive meeting tomorrow at 16 hours and see how we're going to work out. So we're in the stage of understanding how all these things operates. Mr. Nkwilimba, are you there?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think your screen is frozen. I think you're frozen now.
Yeah. Mr.
Okay,
Nkwilimba's
can you
screen
hear
is
me
frozen.
now?
Okay. Yeah, we can get you, Mr. Nkwilimba, yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna jump in. So
Yeah.
earlier I asked about schools and application form and helping people fill out these forms. So have
Can you
we
hear me
set
now?
up? Yeah, I can hear you. I think you're back now. Oh no.
Okay, I'm back now.
Yeah. So earlier I asked, in terms of application for bursaries. So have we set up these groups of people in I don't know how you can call them, application helpers. Have we set up any of the people who are just solely in charge?
Okay.
Okay, but basically, what we've done is that
So
we've
the
downloaded
other
this.
thing is, I mean, as we talk about the role of the ward development committee, when we talk about resources that will come into the wards and other sources. So there is actually a lot of work that the ward development committee will be doing, soliciting resources from other.
Okay, we lost him. So if we just
Yeah,
go back to my question, so have you got allocated people who are looking at helping people with the application for bursary, for high school bursaries and all that goes with it?
Yeah, but yeah, because I mean, we've asked all the zonal leaders in our ward to do that. So there are people who are helping them to fill up these forms. Yes, we have people. Yeah.
Yeah, and how we identifying, because my concern is when it comes to small places with people who low income or not earning a lot, my concern is they're not getting the right information in terms of people actually knowing they can actually apply for this. So how we, because as we said earlier, a lot of people don't understand what this involves, what the CDF involves, or what they can benefit. Some people don't even know they can apply for these bursaries. So how are we making sure that people actually know what the CDF can give them in terms of people want to send somebody to a particular boarding school, but they can't afford. They won't realize that as long as they live in the constituency, they are entitled to the bursary, even if they go to the boarding school in Solwezi or Mongo. But as long as they live in the constituency, they are entitled to it. I think there's a confusion there. How are we making sure that the right information gets to the people?
Yeah, definitely we are doing that. I
We are
think
having a challenge with connectivity today. This is really a pity.
yeah.
One moment, Mr. Nkwilimba. I think Mr. Maul is answering a question.
Yeah.
Go on, Mr. Maul.
Okay, is he asking a question?
He's answering a question. One moment. Mr. Maul, go on.
Come back to the question. I think I've lost it because of the disturbance. Come back to the question.
So my question is, how are we making sure that people have the right information? Because I gave an example. If I am in your constituency and I want to go to boarding school in Solwezi, for some people, they think I might not be entitled to that because I'm going to boarding school in Solwezi. But as I read it, is as long as you live in that constituency, it doesn't matter where you go to the boarding school.
Yeah, you know what we're doing, because basically when I talk about the zonal leaders, these zonal leaders are people who are living in these communities, okay? And these people, they are able to know each other in those communities. So these are the people whom we've given that task of educating the people how these zonal school bursaries work. Because as long as a child is a resident of that ward and he goes maybe to Solwezi boarding school, he or she is entitled to that bursary. So we have, as I said earlier on, our ward, the executive was just put into place and we were given an orientation just 1 week ago. But we've gone flat out having meetings with our people in the community to explain what this CDF is all about. And because, as you are aware, that the government has first started by giving us the secondary school bursaries. Okay, so we are concentrating on that to explain to our people how they should go about it. With our limited resources, we are trying to do something about it anyway through the zonal leaders. And as I said earlier on today, we had a meeting with about 4 zones. Chirenje ward has got 15 zones. Okay, and each zone they've lined up meetings up to, I think by tomorrow, most of the zones should have a meeting to sensitize our communities concerning these bursaries. So we are trying to do that through the zonal leaders.
Mr. Mapanza, over to you.
Yeah, what a day! You know, today has really been a challenge with the connectivity. I think we are remaining with is it 6 minutes to an hour? Perhaps let's hear from Memory, who has just joined us. I don't know how far Memory have been following the program this evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. And yeah, sorry, I meant to join earlier, but I had another meeting and apparently just finished, and I just realized that the meeting was still on here, and I thought maybe I can just join in.
Actually, when I called you, when I called you, this is the emergency I was talking about, because I had no power where I am. and I was hoping that you are going to come in and rescue me, but you were busy, as you say. So go ahead with.
Okay, suffice to say, since I haven't really followed, and the only engagement or the only thing that I've heard, I think I've just found the last question where Frank was asking about how we are helping the communities in terms of giving them information on these bursaries, and yeah, if there are people that are selected in various wards to wholly help those that need these bursaries to access them. So for us in Chilongolo ward, just like I think Mr. Chipuma has explained, in terms of information sharing, really, the platform that we have to engage with the communities and give them all the information that they need is through the zonal meetings. But suffice to say that, yeah, it's really a challenge to get people to attend zonal meetings from the communities. We don't know what the problem is. I don't know how other wards are doing, but for us, not to say that we don't get people. People do attend, but when you look at the population, I mean, in particular zones and the number of people that really come and attend the meetings, it's not something that is really appealing. And that's the platform, because we cannot obviously go door to door informing people to say this is what is going on. And when we call for meetings, we disseminate information for them to come so that they can come and get first-hand information, yeah, collectively. But we get very few in terms of attendance. But what we do is we still encourage those that manage to attend to please, when you go out, this information is not just for you to benefit and interact with neighbors and those if information, if you don't get it from it, they can reach out to us because we are still in the same words. But we still, as we are interacting with other people, we also communicate and try to share as much as possible. So that's all that I wanted to add to your question, Frank.
Thank you so much. That's just so encouraging. It's a little bit disappointed that the uptake has been very poor. We think with everything that the country has gone through, people would have been champing at the bits, as they say. But there's kind of that reluctance from people to actually go and get the benefits of what this is going to bring, because it's about, if the economy over on all the times has been Lusaka Central focused in everything, and this is an opportunity where resources can be spread across the country, and it's kind of disappointed that people are not going, let's make the most of that. Right, Mr. Mapanza, we're nearly at the end of the program, so I will let you do the closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Frank, for standing in. I'm so sorry about today. The connectivity has really been a huge problem. We had no power for most part of the program, but I hope that viewers were able to get something from this program today. So we just want to make an appeal again that we'll have this program again next week on a Saturday, starting from 20 hours. Please do spread the word around that this program is here, and we would want to learn from one another throughout the country, wherever you are, whichever constituency you are, whichever ward you are. This program has been created so that we can learn what is happening where you are. Where we have questions, we can ask questions, and that's the reason why we have this program. So I would like to thank today's guest, Mr. Maulu, who is the Ward Development Committee Chairperson for Chilanga. So we look forward to having another program next week. So I would say bye for now.